Hello everyone, welcome back. Another episode of Bitcoin in real life. Um, Alright, so in this episode I'll talk about a few things. I've been uh, really busy lately, so haven't had a chance to make a video, but here I am. And let me see. I guess first thing I'll talk about is maybe some news. Um, Let me see what's been going on around here. Okay, so well, let me just talk in general. Let me just talk about some Bitcoin news here. Um, I thought this would be interesting because this is always an interest. Um, Apparently, there is rumors or talk or something that they found a third agent in the Silk Road case. It's very interesting. I only bring it up because that's kind of when I got into Bitcoin, when Silk Road was around, and there was a whole um, attack on Bitcoin users at that time. It was very interesting. Anyway, um, there's some news into that. It's always piqued my interest since I've been to the Glen Park Library and kind of went there since I was in San Francisco, which I highly recommend person or Bitcoin user in the San Francisco area, uh, go to that library. You know what's funny is you can probably even meet somebody in there and do a trade in there. It's kind of weird to do that now, knowing what happened over there. So, anyways, there's some news there. Is it possible? I think anything is possible with Bitcoin. That's my answer. Anything is possible with Bitcoin. So if there is a third, all right. Well, let's investigate that. So I'm sure there's probably people on it right now. Anyways, there's one bit of news, Bitcoin related. Um, what other news is there? I mean, the price movement is not so much, I would say, news. Although if you want to know, prices have been ranging 720, 750, somewhere around there, 20 to $30 range. Um, okay, so there's some of that news. What else? Um, and after the news, I'm gonna go over some charts too. So, um, well, let's talk about some other news. Um, well, I'll just talk about it as I do the chart analysis. So that's Bitcoin. So that's kind of one thing I wanted to talk about. I don't know about this whole um, other thing going on with the hard fork, soft fork of Bitcoin. So don't ask me. I just use it. I just use Bitcoin for the most part, and it's been steady. It's been steady. Anyways, in this particular episode, I'm going to talk about um, chart analysis, and I'll show you how ridiculous um, chart analysis can be. Okay, I'm not saying that it's not real. I'm not saying it's a scam or it's bullshit. I'm just saying it can get ridiculous on how far you'll go to analyze a chart. So, and so what I did was I took all these Let me see, what did I take? I took Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Monero, Classic, Dash, and then, oh, Steem didn't quite make it in there, but I'll just, Steem is back there. Alright, and Steem. I didn't do Ripple or Augur. So, so I'm looking at this, and there you go. You got a chart. You got you got two charts cramped into the same amount of space to look at. So, is this now the thing about this? If you do any chart analysis of this kind, where you got two graphs in one chart, it's overwhelmingly deceptive. All right, because they kind of shrink or get larger based on the time frame, and they change as the graph changes too. So the scale of the size of the graph changes. So it's kind of a little deceptive, but I think for people who need a trigger to get into whatever cryptocurrency, in this case it's Bitcoin here, get into it or get out of it. If you need signals, if you need help to actually buy, sell, or hold, you know, there's nothing more than looking at a chart and having it help you decide. If you're that type of person who has a problem with you know, making a decision on buying and selling, trading for the most part. So I'm going to use Bitcoin as just a baseline. You don't have to, but considering all the other charts that you'll look at, it's going to be the cryptocurrency versus Bitcoin, and you can see Bitcoin here. Bitcoin is the only chart that has the US dollar onto it, so so that's why I use Bitcoin as a baseline. You don't have to, but that's what I do. So I look at this, and you can see here this is a market cap, and the market cap now is above here, which if you look at this 2013 high market cap, it's not that far off. So if you look at it, you'll see the market cap is higher on this chart than the actual value of Bitcoin. You can see the gap in between, and it's starting to spread out here. So we're getting a high market cap for current price, which is around $700 or something like that. But the market cap is almost high as when it was almost 2,000. Is that right? 1,000, yeah. So what does that mean? Well, you can analyze the actual data, but if you're just looking for a visual, I guess the market cap since 2013 has always been higher than the price on this chart. So I don't know if what that means, if that's a good sign or bad sign, but take it for what it's worth. So I'm just kind of showing you, and I'll give you my input what it looks like based on this Bitcoin price chart here. So let's go on to Ethereum. I'll just follow down by market cap here. Alright, so there's Ethereum, and you gotta remember, this is how far some people will go to analyze charts on graphs on charts. So I'm looking at this one, Ethereum, and it looks like the price, and then it's in Bitcoin right here, the price, well, has always been higher than the actual market cap on this chart. And it stayed that way until right there, where the market cap was higher than the actual price. And then it's been going back and forth, back and forth. And it almost tells the story, because if you know what happened is, this is somewhere around here, it's a Dow attack. I don't know if is that here? That might be here. Somewhere happened. Anyways, Dow attack. You'll see the crossing over, and then all the forking going on and the split. Now you see the price going down lower than the market cap. Where I think that's kind of where it always should be. The price should, because if I'm looking at Bitcoin, the price is lower. The price is, on the chart anyway, is lower than the actual market cap, and it tends to start going crazier. The dollar amount is going to start shooting up, and the Bitcoin is just, price is just eventually just should be following or directing upwards just the same, but always on the chart wise, the price is always lower and the market cap is always higher. That's what I'm seeing anyway, just looking at it overall. And that's what I'm using as a baseline, and this is what I see on Ethereum. It's kind of turned over now, so I think this is where it should be. Now, what price is it going to stop at? I don't know, but I think this kind of setup where market cap is higher on the chart than the actual price, that might be a buying opportunity or hold an opportunity or whatever. I don't know. I'm just telling you how far some people will go at looking at charts, graphs and charts, to analyze and make a decision on. I'm telling you right now, this is all bogus, but if you've been trading long enough, or if you've been looking at charts long enough, you'll analyze any two squiggly lines on the same chart and come up with a reason. So here is Litecoin, which is always, this is interesting chart to look at for me, is the price has always been higher than the market cap on this until recently, right about here, and then now you're seeing it cross over on the chart. Alright, on this chart here, these two graphs put together. So I consider that, anytime I start seeing that, I think that means the price is really balancing out, or it's starting to take a possible upward trend. I don't know, a stable upward trend, sustainable upward trend. The thing about this is, if you ever go back in time and back tested this, none of this makes sense. It all depends on what you're seeing on the two charts, the two graphs on one chart right now, because it's going to change if you back test this. I've kind of looked into this stuff. It really makes no sense, but some people will go that far to look at charts to analyze. Okay, so that's Litecoin. I think that's good, because I've noticed that on Litecoin. Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta talk about the news. Okay, the news on the Ethereum was they did a hard fork, and this is my take on it. Okay. Um, I'm not very technical. I don't code. I don't have a minor, but I'm just trying to explain it in my words. Ethereum almost, I don't know, attacked itself is what I would say. So something something happened, and I don't know because I don't own any Ethereum. But that's what happened with Ethereum. And then Litecoin. All right, now back to Litecoin. Um, I've always noticed that the price has always been the same, and they always have more coins coming out. Um, so that's why I think there's a turnover here on the market cap, where the price of the coin has been steady, and the market cap has slowly been catching up to the on the graph anyway, the price of the coin and crossing over. That's my opinion. It's actually started right about here, and now it's starting to separate there a little, so maybe the market cap will get bigger, or maybe the price will go up, and then the market the the market cap will kind of start drifting higher, you know, indicating, I think, in my opinion, when you see that, more value. I don't know. For me, it's more valuable. It has a great value because eventually it should turn over where it's going to really start being overvalued. So anyway, that's my opinion on that. What's been going on with Litecoin? Not much, man. I mean, some coins don't do anything. They're just there as a store value, to transfer value. I mean, maybe some people hold it too. I mean, that's um, there's some coins like that. They just don't do a lot, but they're just there for that one purpose. So, and then here's another coin here, Monero. I'm just going down the market cap. See, so there's Monero. Where's the chart for it? There it is. And so if you look at Monero, it's very interesting. It's always been, the price has always been higher than the market cap. So it's always, I wouldn't say overvalued, but low liquidity, I think. You know, you'll see this is, if I look at Monero, this is what you probably should see in a coin that, an altcoin that's actually gonna maybe have value in future use. In my opinion, anyway, something that's been around and it's just been hanging in there. Someone's been, you know, using these. Someone's been playing around with them. I mean, they're there, and it finally, I mean, it's been steady too. Nothing's been going on. It's been flat here all this time until I think right before. Look at that. There's a little bit of time where it started to move a little bit. The price has been the same. The market cap has been increasing, and I think that's about the same time you heard, and I bet you about the same time you heard, and I know it is, this little spike in prices when you heard about the darknet markets taken in Monero, and you could see where it's started to move here. Early indication. I don't know if I see that now. Of course, 2020 is hindsight, but it's interesting to take note of this particular chart, because if you can see it with other charts, that maybe give you a future indication. You know, and that's why some people, especially me, I do that too, would rationalize looking at charts like this. And then let me see here, what else here? Okay, Ethereum Classic. I guess they kind of had the same issue. I don't know if they're doing any hard forks or whatever. But let's just look at this price here. And I think they really are valued. If anything, I would say the original Ethereum Classic, the original Ethereum. This is the true value of Ethereum Classic right here. And now you're seeing a separation here a little bit, but the price has gone down. I think some of this may be in relation to Bitcoin price going up in relation to both Ethereum, that you're seeing this spread as well. But at the same time, when I see these spreads here, the market cap higher and the actual price being lower on the chart, I'm starting to see, I would say, kind of better value. So anyways, it's really flat, but it's starting to separate right here, so there may be something happening in the future here if you're into altcoin trading. And then what's the last one? Okay, the last one is going to be, no, not the last one, second to last is going to be Steem. And Steem has a very interesting story. Very, very interesting. So if I look at this, I see that the price was higher than the market cap, which is overvalued. And then it's slowly trying to come back down to create some kind of value here. And you can see towards the very end, it's right about here, this little bump right here. Something happened here. Maybe they started redeveloping, changing, tweaking with the site, whatever. I know they're changing their inflation rate. Something's happening here, and then it's flipping over where now it's undervalued, I guess you could say, and it's starting to spread here a little bit. But you got to remember, there's so much steam now, and the price of Bitcoin's been going up. That's also causing that to flip over here. But if the price of Bitcoin remained the same, the amount of steam that's like, there's a lot of steam out there. I don't know if you all know that. There's like a lot. Anyways, if it just trades a little bit higher and higher, the spreader, the market cap would go up higher, and the price would just simply move up or even stay the same, depending on the price of Bitcoin. Because if Bitcoin goes up, this would stay the same, because this is Bitcoin price related, but the market cap would start going up, up, up. So that's the kind of chart you would see in the future if it does something like that. I don't know what they're doing. Not sure how this is going to play out, because I've never seen anything where, well, I've seen some things like this, but who knows? This is all brand new. All brand new. I've never seen anything like this. So overvalued, comes down, pairs out, and then makes a slow flip over, which you know, I don't know what that means. Maybe the price will go up, or maybe Bitcoin price will go up and pull all the other prices up as well, and increase the market cap of other altcoins. I mean, who knows how this is all going to play out. So alright, last one. Alright, last one, Zcash. Okay, this is another one that, you know, how do you analyze this stuff? Alright, you know, analyzing something that is has no history to it is kind of hard, because you really got to look. Now this is where you get into I guess prediction, reading charts. This is literally reading charts. It's almost like reading bones. Let me see, reading tea leaves. another thing a lot of people would do. Roll the dice, flip the coin. Um, is it random? It's not really random. Sometimes it's gosh, I don't know. It's very subjective. But you're just looking at it and trying to get a sense of what's going to happen next. That's all I can say. But literally, you're reading charts, okay, or like you're reading the stars or stuff like that. So Zcash, I don't know what to say. This is a very interesting chart. I'm looking at the price, and the price has obviously been steadily had a little bounce and steadily. Now this is the price compared to Bitcoin, okay, not US dollars. But if you see the price of this compared to Bitcoin, you can see it's just a flat and very level. So if you were trading Bitcoin, for Zcash the Bitcoin, if you're not looking at this chart, you're not doing too much. It's very flat. Market cap wise is increasing, and I think that's mainly due to the fact of mining is being ramped up, and so there's more Zcash being mined than probably being bought at this point in time. So probably being sold. That's why you're seeing the steady price is just staying slowly going down here. And on top of that, the price of Bitcoin's been going up, so the Zcash have been very flat. I would say if the price of Bitcoin goes up, the price of Zcash goes up in US dollar anyway. According to this chart anyway, because you see how flat it is. So if Bitcoin went up to 1,000, this you would still see this very flat chart. It really needs to start moving on its own. As far as market cap, this is a really good sign. If they just continue, from what I can tell, just mine Zcash. If they can get enough people mining it, it may actually turn out to be something. Because you'll need people to mine. But I don't know how many people would want to mine 20% for the founders. That's the only issue with Zcash. So a couple ways they can try to make a market is add a $20 premium to the market and get their money back that way. It's going to be passed down to the user. So people who start using it expect to pay 20% on top of what you're already being, asked to pay for. So on a new market, Zcash on anonymous, supposedly untraceable. So I would expect to, 20, probably another 20 percent to buy or cash out. And so you're looking at 40% increase in value of premiums to be paid, in my opinion, just to use Zcash right now. So I think people will just have to keep on mining Zcash and just showing on paper they have X amount of, US dollar, Chinese dollar, Mexican dollar, whatever fiat currency you're in, on paper, because you have so many Zcash coins mining, That's going to be a long time. I would say about 3 years. Um, you know, uh, you're gonna probably hear stories of someone who, I don't know, let's say, you know, traded 10,000 Zcash coins for a pizza or something like that, or something like that. You may hear something ridiculous in the future where Zcash may be worth. It could be worth a lot. You know, it could be. There's potential because there's people out there who are willing to pay for untraceable, anonymous transactions. I'm just letting you know, there are people who are willing to pay for that. And so as the premium market shrinks to something probably a little bit more uh, sustainable and more liquid, um, you can see the value of Zcash probably going up. I can understand that premise. Would it be higher than Bitcoin? I don't know. I don't think so because um, according to this chart, it's not quite 1 to 1. It's like 0.1, I think. Um, let me verify that before I say anything. Yeah, almost 0.1. So it has a ways to go, but you know, it's not impossible for any coin to, as far as price parity, to be, you know, to reach a Bitcoin price, or a Bitcoin price to go down to that price. I mean, one or the other. Um, you know, nothing's nothing's impossible when it comes to Bitcoin. That's what I always say. Anyways, this concludes this episode. Feel free to like, dislike, leave a comment, even do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.